Hey guys, what's up? Alright, so it looks like we're live. I will get rolling in things pretty quickly. I'll give myself a countdown, so I believe it's Pika who's doing the restream can have a clean start, and then I will give you guys kind of some information as we go through the first stage. So I'm strizer86. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope everyone's having a great charity marathon so far. And we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so first stage is just text mashing, so I'll take the opportunity to explain to you guys kind of the ins and outs of what we're going to be doing. The Messenger bears a lot of similarity to quite a few classic games. The main take is going to be, of course, Ninja Gaiden. And first thing that we're going to learn is the Cloud Step ability. So the Cloud Step ability is the ability to jump after slashing something, even if you've already exhausted your original jump. So that's going to be like our basic ability. We're going to utilize it a lot throughout the run, and it's also going to be kind of the main skill that we're going to build on. There is a very intended route that you can see in a lot of areas, but you can go outside of that just with some creative jumps and using some of the tools that we're going to get later. So if everyone in chat wants to guess either 0, 1, or 2, how many time shards do you think we're going to get from the intro enemies? You either get 0, 1, or 2 time shards to start us off. So time shards are used to purchase upgrades. And we're going to find out in just a moment. King's got to guess a 1. And we have 1. Alright, so King wins a hat. In terms of the storyline itself, the game doesn't take itself too seriously. It starts off maybe with a couple more serious moments, and then it just breaks the fourth wall multiple times throughout the duration of the rest of the game. You're not going to be seeing too much of the text. We're playing on Japanese. It doesn't save a ton of time, but there's a little bit of text in the shops when you both enter and leave buying upgrades that is mandatory, that you can't skip. So it just briefly cuts down on that time. So we're at a Ninja Village, we're done the mashing intro, and we're into Autumn Hills, which we'll call it the real first stage. So being like a Ninja Gaiden game, or at least like one of the classic Ninja Gaiden games to start, this game is going to be entirely linear to start. That being said, it's not going to end that way, but we'll cross that bridge once we come to it. So very, very early on, you're limited in your skill sets. You basically just have your single jump, your slash, and your cloud step. But the time shard routing at the very start of the run specifically is extremely heavy and exact. Like, you're going to see me coming within a few time shards of what I need in any given area. Alright, so he gives us the climbing claws, which means we can now climb walls, and above and beyond that, for 40 time shards, I just bought the ability to destroy projectiles. So that's going to be extremely useful. You want that right off the bat. Perfect example, destroying the projectiles, using the cloud step to just kind of minimize the amount of time you're spending traversing the vertical section there. So over 40 once I hit this, pretty standard. I keep little kind of like mental checks as to how many time shards I have where, whether or not I need to collect an extra 1 or 2 lanterns along the way. I can just kind of route it in on the fly. If you swim up against the ceiling there, you can actually negate the knockback from the gear. Also the fun little feature of when you go in the water, the music changes. So I'm playing any percent. There were clips discovered. There is like full out of bounds and things like that. But you will see me demonstrating a lot of those. There's a lot of new stuff I came up with just even a couple days ago, which minor time saves have done quickly, and I'll probably throw a few of them in just for swag, but very likely not going to be beneficial until you're at that point where you need to like save those last few seconds. but they'll be fun to show off. So if you get the end of that platform and you actually ride that platform for just a second, you can hit the fireball and you'll actually save a little bit of time. And platform skip. We don't like waiting for cycles if we don't have to. Main thing, and this is something that you'll pick up after playing for a period of time, is really kind of just learning to see where you can maximize and utilize your cloud step effectively. Like it's something that's a skill that's built over time. You won't see it on your first playthrough, but you start to learn little techniques and things that you can do differently. You know, maximize jump height or get a little more jump height out of a certain move, for example. 159 is really great coming in this shop. So first shop we're going to stop, we're going to buy shurikens, and we're going to buy knockback cancel. First boss I've lovingly dubbed Pumpkin Spice. You'll see why. Looks like fall. You can only one cycle the boss if you have shurikens. That's why you want to make the extra little dip into the shop prior. And we're on to Forlorn Temple. So Forlorn Temple is going to be just a small step along the way. It's basically a chance to see, hey, here's an area that you can't yet access, and you're going to drop into Catacombs. Catacombs, because of a fairly large and significant out of bounds skip, you're not going to see a lot of either. And sadly, we're not going to see any of poor Ruxton, who would be the boss of Catacombs. In any percent with all of the clips and skips that we've found so far, it's basically at a point where you don't see him in any capacity. Like, normally you would go back and see him in the future and he would give you an amulet, or he would have left you an amulet, I guess is a better phrasing. Alright, there we go. Alright, so after this screen and seeing my feet, you're really not going to see me anymore for the rest of Catacombs, so I hope everyone's going to enjoy the soundtrack. It's an awesome soundtrack. We'll touch more on that later. What I'm doing in short throughout this section is I'm navigating the rooms well out of bounds, and I'm going to navigate right past the boss, and I'm going to trigger the loading zone for the next area, which is Bamboo Creek. Moment of focus just to make sure I don't get astray here. Back up. Drop down one more time. A little bit of a jig out there, but it happens from time to time. Should be totally fine. When we see the bottom of the next screen, I'm going to turn left, and that's when we're going to hit the loading zone for Bamboo. And there you have it. So sadly, we do not see Ruxton. We do not hear his epic laughter. And he has been cut from any percent. So, another out of bounds skip. We're going to enter the back entrance of Forlorn. You can trigger the boss fight in 8-bit. The boss is invisible, so you definitely don't want to do that. We're going to head back out to Bamboo. Got Crystal for the extra time shards along the way. This is a fairly recent route change. The act of going that way doesn't really save too much time, especially if you're opting to get both crystals like myself. It will allow me for a little bit of marathon safety in my time shard routing, as well as potentially picking up a health upgrade early, which, again, marathon safety doesn't hurt. Bamboo is going to be all about just tricky and fancy movement, skipping elevators, skipping cycles, skipping lifts, anything that you can skip. Basically, we want to skip it. That would be an example of what you would normally want to skip, but there being another one. You wouldn't know it unless you looked at it, but there's a whole section off to the left there where you're meant to go up and kind of around. But just go on the outside. Many of us that have played games with double jump tend to know that double jumps in games tend to be broken. Well, imagine being able to jump as many times as you want as long as you can keep hitting stuff. Same thing there. Elevator skip. There was an elevator, believe it or not, at the bottom of that. Alright, I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to make sure I get extra, which will also allow me for the early health upgrade. And that's Bamboo. If you talk to the shopkeeper, he will tell you that, like, you can ask for hints and boss strategies along the way. He will tell you when you are in Bamboo that there is no boss in Bamboo. And I actually watched a friend of mine play it recently casually, and he thought that was actually true. Or he didn't think that was true. So we got to the end of Bamboo, and he's like, wait, there really is no boss? And it's like, yeah, man, he told you there's no boss. Alright, so what I'm going to be buying here, I have a little bit extra. So I bought the first health upgrade for fairly cheap. The dash in the water, as well as the glide attack, which glide is what I just got from the shopkeeper there. It's kind of our progression item for Grotto. Sorry, it took me a moment on the name there. So this is the Grotto. Couple small clips in Grotto, nothing major, nothing you're going to spend a ton of time on. There's one that you can get in 3 chances before you actually start to lose time, and it's because you're already waiting on a cycle to begin with. There's another one that saves a little bit of time, but you're probably maybe going to only throw 1 or 2 attempts at it. Or at least that's all I do. Here's one, I'll get 3 chances at, basically right here. Oh, 2 maybe. Okay. So you're waiting for that little grinder anyways, that little saw. Same thing here. There's one here. I'll usually make 1 shot at it, but it only saves going up and around here. It's not a major skip of any type, so I generally won't give more than 1 jump at that, just to see if I happen to get it. Kind of like one of those sweet what-ifs, but you don't bank on it. First, look at the water dash. If you jump out of the water while you're doing the water dash, you actually get to maintain that speed, which is pretty sweet. something you'll basically learn to make use of over time. It's very handy. Hitting torches on the way up for the sake of getting extra height, and even double slashing them in some cases. And just like that, we're at the boss. Don't need an extra shop visit. I'm pretty much set at this point. And this is where we encounter the golem. The golem's core takes 8 slashes. We're going to use 7 and throw a star for the 8th to maximize the time you can actually do damage. Sorry, 1 second. I don't know where it is off the top of my head. It's in my room or something. Alright, so phase 2. It's like nothing. So, again, we're not going to have a chance to see the text, but basically what the golem is saying is it was all a big misunderstanding. We walked into his place and acted aggressively. We claim that he acted aggressively. He says, well, maybe I can see how it would be a misunderstanding, and like, I'm going to make this wind portal so you can get to the next stage. You guys make amends. It was all a big misunderstanding, but he's still a little bit salty that you destroyed his golem. So next we're on to Quillshroom. At this point, the time shard routing is a little bit more loose. Once I get my glide attack, once I've done Grotto Shop, things get a little bit more loose. You still ideally don't want to take a death before we'll be taking an intentional death, because every time you die, it does basically cost you time shards, but the routing isn't that specific that you can't A, make it up, or B, accommodate yourself along the way. And naturally, you're probably just going to get a little more than needed anyways, just by the torches you happen to pass. Nice little balance of glide attacks and cloud steps. Shroom's a little bit tricky. You can actually be too fast for this pendulum. Alright, well, we're going to be brazen. We're going to skip that checkpoint. So, I often joke that 3 health or less is scary in this game, and the reason for that is before you get the ability that actually reduces damage, spikes do 3 damage. So you don't want to be sitting at 3 or less, because one unfortunate bump in the spikes is going to mean the end. That was interesting. Accidentally threw out a shuriken. That'll happen from time to time. Alright. I'm not going to get it. It was a little bit too low. So something new I've come up with is when you come onto the screen, if you're at the right height, you can actually just toss 2 stars. And you can toss 2 stars and you can hit both the enemy and the switch at the same time. Don't stand on the left of that platform because you can and will get squished. I've done it before. Not fun. Not something you'd ever think of, to be honest. And up and over. And the fake out. Psych. So this room you can actually go too quickly. If you go too quickly, you will basically bop your head on some spikes that are going back and forth on this section. So you just want to make sure that you're going to give yourself a little bit of hang time there. Alright, something new for you guys. Probably didn't make up too much time, if any, with that many attempts, but a little bit of something new. Alright, she is dead. Couple shurikens at the end help with the right side kill. Normally, that little green creature there, normally when you die, you've seen the red creature on the loading screens, he's basically the guy that brings us back to life. There's a little cutscene there if you've died, because the red one's wondering, you know, who is this green one that has teleported the woman away. So the monk is actually a previous messenger who has been corrupted. So she has her own, his name is Corbel for our case, but she has her own little revival dude? Yeah. Alright, so now we get Rope Dart. Rope Dart being an amazing utility item. Essentially, the logic is, if you can Rope Dart it, you should Rope Dart it. It's going to get you there faster, and you can keep some momentum in a lot of really cool spots. Nice, first try. Alright, came up with that one the other day too. See if we can get this one for swag. Second try. Alright, I'll take that. Those are both things that I just came up with 2 days ago. I was playing around and looking for some new stuff. Not significant, but again, just things that we're probably going to want to throw in for minor time saves, especially once you're looking for them a little bit more. There we go. Come on. Can clip out of this wall. It's gonna happen. There we go. Okay. Now that I'm done and can explain what just happened, it was another clip for sure. After the linear portion of the game, you find out that you have to collect music notes. So even though it doesn't technically exist in the 8-bit world that we're currently in, you can grab the music note despite the fact that it's invisible to you, and despite the fact that you don't even know what they are. So we grabbed that on our first way by now to actually minimize backtracking a little bit later. Nice little skip there. Not quite. Another tiny one for you. Again, it's one of those ones that's not going to save a huge amount of time, but if you happen to get it quickly, it's going to be a time save. Following the theory of rope dart everything. And we're on to Craig's boss. So rope dart, in addition to being quick, also actually provides you iframes, which are super handy for getting through enemy hitboxes. Sadly, this boss is a little bit RNG based on how many cycles you're going to end up getting. It's going to be based on the moves that they decide to give you. The way this fight works is they both have separate HP values, and you have to get both of them below a certain threshold before the fight is over, and then they'll tag out like that, and the fight will end. And for those that didn't pick up on it, one of them skips leg day and one of them skips arm day. We make our way up to Glacial. Come on. Go. Hey, what's up, Cab? Welcome. Alright, going for maximum swag. Alright, there we go. All the clips. We're going for all the clips. Again, we're seeing the power of the Cloud Step and the Rope Dart combined. It all becomes about where can you sneak in rope darts and how can you sneak in rope darts. A little bit early. Hello, innocent other traveler. There we go. Nice glacial all around. Start was a little bit rough to get that first jump. That's fairly new, but very well rounded. And so we reached the top of the mountain. And we deliver the scroll, you know, the messenger. It's been called the messenger. We did get a scroll at the very start. You need to hold it a certain height in the air before it activates, just be aware. And essentially the mages, the shopkeeper and whatnot are telling you they're excited about doing the thing. We're all going to get to do the thing today. Technically there's Thing Junior, I guess we'll call it, and the actual thing at the end of the game. Thing preview. They're basically excited. You're the first one that's made it and delivered the scroll, made it to the Tower of Time, which you are entering in a while, and they want you to succeed because they want to do the thing. Tower of Time has 4 clips. We're going to be going for 3 of them. One of them, the one that you don't do is frame perfect, and there's no reason to go for it. It does not save really a lot of time at all. Let me take this safety checkpoint. It doesn't save a lot of time at all, and if you miss it, it costs you a lot of time. so I'm going to be going for the other 3. Just going to take the damage boost off him. That was the lesser of evils here. First one coming up right here. Alright. There we go. Alright, so that was a combination of jumps and rope darts to basically force myself out of the wall, and then I came in contact with an off-screen save point, hence the save and quit. And it brings me over here. Uh-oh. Woo! Spicy. So this is the room where that one clip is that you would not do. If you get yourself squished by that platform up at the top, there's a chance, a very, very small chance, that you can get yourself pushed through that wall. Grab this as well. Basically, you can grab all safety checkpoints in the Tower of Time. Not a PB run, so I might as well take my safeties. Same version of the clip that you saw before. Grab this. Yeah, you can damage boost up through the lasers, although I've taken a double hit once before when I was trying it, and it killed me, so it wasn't worth it. But I have damage boosted up through the lasers. They do 4, which is deceptive because you would figure, well, everything else does 3, you know? Spikes do 3, all the big stuff does 3. Nope, those do 4. And final clip of tower. Another save and quit. There is a smaller category opposed to any percent, which is called 8-bit. It used to be just the exact same start of the run. Ever since we've started routing in early Craig note for any percent, it's kind of taken the wind out of those sails for doing both simultaneously. 8-bit only goes to the end of this section, the Tower of Time. So there's no reason to grab Craig note if you're doing 8-bit, and you're not going to want to waste that time. So this is, we'll call this the Thing preview. This is the thing they've been waiting to do, and why they're so glad that you've arrived. Ooh, close. Oops. Somehow fell down. And that's the end of the tower. It's the thing. They're doing it. Alright, so there's been reference earlier in the run to 8-bit, and I haven't addressed the other side of that. The other side of that coin is 16-bit. So, being the messenger that arrives, your, I guess, special ability as messenger is you can travel between times. 500 years to be exact, and when you travel into the future, everything turns 16-bit. Graphically, things are going to look upgraded and different. Musically, things are going to sound different. You got yourself a cool, swaggy new hat. So the world is just a little bit different. We're still on the linear path. There's going to be 2 more stages of straight linear path before we get to, for lack of better words, what we'll call the Metroidvania section. But welcome to 16-bit. Now, there are going to be spots to freely switch back and forth when we start to revisit areas. Terrain will change, like the layout of the area changes, not just graphically, but like physically changes as well. I'm really shocked I got that jump. least. Alright, so this is the Cloud Runes. Now that the scroll business is resolved, taking to the skies, another little clip there. Little bit, this one actually skips a decent amount of time. You're going to want to invest time in this one for sure. But the whole reason that this started was the demon lord showed up at our village, and it still has not been resolved. And drum breakdown. Oh look, it's a dragon. Manfred trying to look all scary. I will say this, this boss, when you do fight him at the end of the stage, is probably, I will say, one of the more difficult fights, especially difficult to do quickly, is the best way that I can put that. In areas where I can't make cycles, you're going to see me just opting to still grab shards and stuff like that along the way. Drop. So I accidentally hooked the wall, or rope darted the wall instead of the enemy. I've gotten trapped in there enough times, accidentally, in the spike wall, so I'll just always avoid it if I have a moment. Drum Breakdown 2.0. The Commissioner of Major League Baseball. I hope everyone's having an awesome marathon, by the way. I did notice that we are over the goal of 600, so thank you everybody that's contributed. Very much appreciated. I know Mannix and everyone else behind the scenes is working super hard to get things going, and keep things going. We'll consider this like the boss auto-scroller section. Ooh, that's not good. Alright, so we're gonna have to wait the extra cycle. Oh, I shouldn't say have to. I'm going to, so I don't get squished. Once again, we're at that, 3 or lower health mark, which is what you don't want to see. But last drum breakdown, last dragon auto-scroller, and we actually get to fight him. How menacing all the horns and spikes are. Also, I love how there's a red guy that just shows up at the front of the screen for no reason. We'll put him out of his misery. You don't want to get too far ahead in the screen, unless you've memorized exactly what's coming. You're pretty apt to take a fall, especially some of those larger pits where you have to actually jump your way over like that. You definitely don't want to be far ahead of the screen. Alright, now we do the Manfred fight. This fight is not fun, to be completely honest. Couple extra hits in. Nope. You basically want to try and read which direction he's going to go, and you're trying to do a juggle, is what it comes down to. Cab with the 20, thank you so much. Alright, now he's gonna play mean, he's gonna get rid of the cloud platforms. Almost dead. There we go. And Manfred is down. The result of all our hard work. I'm gonna switch from red to blue. Well, bluish green. Teal. And we get some dragon hearts. And lo and behold, this mysterious warrior, which I'm not sure if you've noticed him because we've only seen him briefly a couple times along the way, is the demon general who has been assigned to watch us. So Underworld, this is the end of the lunar section. Yes, Raiden with a sword. Hat is the best part. There's actually a whole section of dialogue boxes dedicated to your hat once you enter the shop, because the shopkeeper is jealous about it. And then next time you go into the shop afterwards, he actually has his own version of the hat. Small clip there. Little creative jumping. Good. I don't usually go for that. If you get hit, not fun. But that was actually a really nice move between that. You want to make this saw cycle one way or another. We made the earlier version of that cycle, I guess you would call it. I apologize. My alerts should have been off, but thank you so much for the sub. It still sounds like it came through on the audio. I'm pretty confident it didn't come through on video. There we go. Again, just kind of minimizing the amount of platforming that we need to do. Example. Yeah, I'm sure by now you guys are probably getting the actual view of how many things we're trying to rope dart. You can latch onto it. You pretty much want to. Point in case, you can rope dart those, but we just slightly missed it. Alright, back into the shop. We're gonna buy the upgrade that makes enemies sometimes drop ki, which is used for your shurikens, and we're gonna buy the extra shuriken upgrade. So what I did there is every time you shoot a shuriken at the boss, it actually resets his timer before he decides he's going to go and attack you. So you basically just make him stand there throughout the duration of you attacking him. Music box is unique. I like 16-bit music box. Autumn Tune is really good as well. Glacial's really good. I don't think there's a bad soundtrack on it, to be honest. There's just better sounds, better songs, some better than others. Alrighty. Bamboo's really good, yep. Manfred has come to save the day. So, at the end of what you would, I guess, call linear percent, this is where it's all revealed that it's a big loop. And as the shopkeeper says, we need to acknowledge this. Take this time to appreciate the loop, guys. Take the time. Also to enjoy the shop music. The shop music's really good too once we get there. Pass along the scroll. Now it's more tech smashing. So if you've tried to access this closet throughout the duration, he basically doesn't let you. He keeps arguing with you and tells you that you can't. Now is your final time, or now is your moment to finally open up the closet. And what you reveal is a whole bunch of blue robes. Yours is for some reason green when you put it on, despite the fact that they're all blue. But yeah, this is our life for a moment. Alright, so he returns and he's like, hey, you know, nothing's happened for a while. And you're like, no, there's lots of time that I didn't spend in the shop. And he explains to you that essentially where you're in the Tower of Time, because the shop exists within the Tower of Time, that the only moments you should experience are either the moments in which your messenger comes to the shop or your messenger dies. And you have a small amount of time to send Corbel out to rescue them, otherwise they die permanently. My character not having died yet actually wouldn't know that, just out of plot points. But also the shopkeeper doesn't explain it to you. So he says, okay, put your normal clothes back on. We're gonna talk about this. He turned baby blue in the wash. The shopkeeper's like, alright, from this point on, you're gonna be dealing with the prophet. Good luck with that. The prophet explains to you that there's a prophecy stating that a messenger will retain the message for longer than normal, i.e. your guy died and you got it back, and that you are trying to save a guy named Phantom, who was a previous messenger, from a music box. The music box is actually the source of the curse on mankind. So you have to collect all of the music notes in order to access the music box and attempt to rescue Phantom from within. Hence where that early music note comes in. We're back in autumn, we're in 16-bit. We're on the search for another music note. Nose. Almost fell down. You see, I got a neat momentum boost there off of the water, and then maintained it because I used the rope dart and then slashes on enemies in the air to actually keep that momentum going. But here's where you'll see the instances of unavoidable shifts between the two worlds. You're also going to have cases where they're like little circles and you can willingly kind of go back and forth. Little clip, and we're gonna grab the autumn note. We are not going to legitimately grab a lot of stuff in this run. A lot of stuff can be accessed via clips. There's a couple sequence breaks that are built in that we're going to be utilizing as well, but it just skips the whole process of having to go around and grab it, basically. so now we're going to do the dark cave. Dark cave would normally require a candle, but it is fully passable in the dark without getting the candle to help you. To get the candle, you would have to get the astral tea. It's this big long process of, we'll call it fetch quests, but we're not going to make time to do that. It's just easier to memorize the dark cave and go at it that way. It's just a candle, yeah. He tells you that you're gonna get like enlightened vision and whatnot, and then he's like, oh, here's a candle. The old ninja master is a little bit spicy in his old age. And secret entrance into catacombs. Oh, not gonna make that. I'll just take the half cycle. You can actually make that and just make it on the first trip over. In my case, it wasn't gonna happen, and I knew it wasn't gonna happen, so I immediately bailed and went for the half cycle, I guess you'll call it. So normally you should recognize this spot, except for we skipped over most of Catacombs, so you probably don't. Sneak our way in here. So Ruxton actually tells you when you go back and visit him, not only does he give you an amulet, not only does he tell you that the staff that he's once had is going to help you, he also tells you about this dark cave that he happened to find. I'm gonna go into focus mode for just a moment here. And yeah, that's Dark Cave. It's really not overly long. Hardest part is definitely in the middle, in my opinion. And we are into Riviere Turquoise. I see some things that kind of resemble Sonic. At least they remind me of Sonic. Little like flowers that bounce you around and rebound you and stuff. That one was definitely not needed. You can skip that one. Oops. That was close. That would have actually killed me. A little bit of under over there. Moving. I'm gonna wait that cycle out. Would have opted for the health, but I have 4 now, so I feel a little bit more confident. If I only had the 3, it would be a different story. That was a little closer than I would have liked it. That was not with confidence, that's for sure. But we made it. Alright, so neat little trick here. This is kind of an example of what you can do and how you can keep momentum in this game. That one's a fairly new discovery. That's one of my favorite new little tricks, if you will. Even with the double back to get the bird too, it is definitely the fastest way to traverse that room. It's not too hard too. Once you, like, you can max it those couple jumps and you'll only waste a small amount of time. Once again, not really taking things as intended if you don't need to. Here, unfortunately, we have to. This part used to give me a little bit of trouble, because there's a skip that I'm going to do up here in a second, but not really. I feel better about the game overall, especially my end game. Like, I ran 8-bit for a little while first, so my end game was not nearly up to snuff for what the rest of my game was. That's the skip right there. And there's actually going to be something new I can show off too, which is going to be pretty sweet. So there's a little bit of an issue with the save in the hub here. So you get your save, you get your checkpoint. When you walk back into the shop, you get another save, and this is supposed to be a checkpoint as well. You're not supposed to be able to die in the hub. So a neat little discovery as of late is that if you die in the hub, it doesn't acknowledge that checkpoint. You die by getting in the wall and ducking. You come back at Riviere, and this is going to be my first death, which is also the intentional death. You come back at Riviere here. Things look a little bit different. Things seem to be missing. Boss trigger also seems to be missing. The hardest boss is definitely the one that doesn't fight back. Exactly, it looks like space. So now we're gonna get this awkward double looping of music, and I'm sorry, it will go away shortly. We're gonna take another intentional death here. And double music again for just a moment. And music will go back to normal, thankfully. Alright, so that's Riviere. What we got out of that essentially is we got a small ferry. If you saw, there were small ferries along the way that I was using to like unveil stuff. We got a small ferry which can lift mild or like small curses, we'll say. So what could we use that on? Well, we're gonna go visit our old friend the monk, who is also a messenger, and just happened to be cursed. We all know the truth about that butterfly. It was really a bat 500 years ago for some reason. And it's still all a test. So it all becomes, you know, where's this going to lead? The Riviere butterfly didn't give us a music note. Monk's not going to give us a music note. Quick little jaunt there. Let's lift the curse. Alright, so we are up one messenger. Still no music note, though. You know, we have to collect these music notes. We found the one in Craig. We are gonna head to Elemental Skylands. There's the staff that belongs to Ruxton, but we don't know that, because who's Ruxton? Which is sad, because he had the best laugh. General rule, it's faster to fall down things than it is to climb things, so starting at the top of Glacial. Wahahaha. I love the Ruxton laugh. Y'all get to enjoy this rockin' 16-bit version of Glacial. A bit daunting. If you don't know where the pits are, you're probably going to take a tumble. I like Ruxton too. Alright, so here's our friend the monk. Basically says, hey, I know that you're gonna need these lanterns in the future, so I'm just gonna whip the ice off them. Of course, time being of the essence. I'm gonna go back to the future. We just solved the problem we didn't effectively know we had, but, oh, look. Manfred, what are you doing inside that giant ace? Oh, it's time to drop the dragon. Just because he's a bad guy does not mean that he's a bad guy. It's true. Ruxton swears off evil once you beat him. He turned good. Alright. So I hope everyone's got their cool shades on for the Elemental Skylands tune. Plus the shmup section. The end goal is we need 1,320 time shards by the time we leave this place and do our next shop visit. That's what we're going to be trying to get to. Excellent. That is the exact number of sunglasses that this level needs. Alright, we're off to the Air Elemental Skyland section. So the idea basically is that you are trying to disable these 4 shield generators, which will allow you to get to the Clockwork Knight. Here's the thing. It doesn't really check if you've actually, you know, done that. It only checks that you've made it to the end. So, you don't need to turn them off. We just need to get to where we need to go. Thank you, appreciate that. Small little guys that have the propeller in the back give 1 time shard. Guys with the prop on the top gives 6. Super handy. Basically, you want to make sure you always get these guys. Couple cannons kicking around too, looking like Kirby. Can destroy them. You don't get anything out of them, but you can destroy them. I hope I'm making Tex proud with all my shmup goodness. Alright, we've arrived at the Earth Skylands. So, Earth Skylands, we are actually going to turn off the shield in this one. We are going to skip a big portion of it, though, by utilizing that friendly little D-boost there. Don't you guys ever tell anyone about that friendly little D-boost. It's going to be our little secret. Alright, so your first look of what the actual generators look like. Because we didn't see the last one. Ooh, I didn't realize my health was so low there. That was scary. Whoosh. Destroy the Nick cannons. We'll be gone in 60 seconds. Don't worry, Brass. Technically wrong, Nick. Raiden's a god. He needs no help. But he does need the hat. As long as we're not debating the importance of the hat, I'm okay with that. D-boost. D. Doesn't your chest say die, Bart, die? No, that's Latin for the Bart. The. Taking out hordes of these enemies. Our 6 time shard. Alright, we're on to the water area. Elemental Skylands, Element, where we're going with this. Ta-da! Like nothing. Let's go. Whoosh. Alright, looking to hit that 1320. Still seems like we're a far ways away, but there's some good sections of those guys that drop 6. They all just kind of line up in a row and just toss one charge fireball through them. For those like values, charge fireball does 5, and a regular fireball does 1. Whoosh. Whoosh. At least 2 more of these big deposits of crystals happening here. There we go. That's gonna be it. Whoosh. And we're there. No worries. Being deathless, other than the 2 intentional deaths up to this point, definitely helps with that as well. We don't like the fire elemental one either, so we just skip all of it. I don't know off the top of my head. My pace leaving Riviera was good. I haven't had a non-intentional death, so we're on solid pacing so far. Hasn't been any huge mistakes. I've shown off a couple swaggy little clips that maybe took a little extra time, but were fun to show off. Alright, we're approaching the Clockwork Knight. Get ready to blast him. Reminds me of Cuphead, but way less infuriating. I could understand and appreciate that. Alright, one detail we've left out about Manfred, the reason that he's chosen the name Manfred is he wants to be a butler, and the Clockwork Knight guy is like, hey, you can be my butler. You have an amazing name for a butler. Also, Brown Note Get. I understand it's purple, but it clearly came out of his side butt. I'm gonna call it side butt. South Park was right, exactly. Okay, so we're gonna make our way back now. Do a little bit of backtracking. Got the 1320 we need. We're going to make a quick visit off to the shop. We're going to need the 7th HP and we're going to need damage reduction. So we need damage reduction for Sunken, which is going to be the next area we go to. They did not need to jump there. So early route used to have this Craig's portal already open, but that was a small variance that changed recently. So Sunken Shrine, there is a key item. It's a seashell, and it's supposed to help you through the Sunken Shrine area. Sunken Shrine basically has an entrance that is like Skullwoods. You know, you're not supposed to be able to find your way unless you have the tool to do so. Luckily, the puzzle is always the same. So if you know what the order is that you need to go into, you don't need to get the shell at all. You can just skip it entirely. Dodge a few rocks on our way down. Switch. And we're back to 8-bit. Down we go. Casual me definitely tried to figure this out without the appropriate tool. Definitely not something that you want to do. Pretty simple order once you have it memorized. Write it down. Use a notepad, whatever you need to do. It's a shame that Sunken is going to end up being so short, just on the basis that it's got really good music. The whole theme of Sunken is you need to get the tabbies, the Lightfoot tabbies, which allow you to walk on water, i.e. water and lava. And you also need to get the Sun and the Moonstone. So it's got this big elaborate setup of how you're going to kind of go through this maze and how it's all going to connect, but we're not going to do any of that. Alright, so we're going to clip in. There's our Sunstone. Come on. There we go. The key there is you don't actually want to come out and hit the time change. You can't grab it in 8-bit. There's the Moonstone. Alright, so the reason that you need the 7 health and the damage reduction is you end up with 1. Should everything go ideal there, because you need to take 3 damage boosts through spikes. Spikes normally doing 3, reduced to 2. That is sadly all of Sunken. What do we find at the end of Sunken? So these 2 tablets, which basically describe themselves as gods, deities, whatever term you would like to use. Kind of talk about how they helped protect the world, but once faith was lost and could no longer supply their power, they were unable to protect the world, and hence why the curses continued and why the curse was allowed to happen, if you will. There's our sunken note. It is Pokemon crossover. Alright, so next on our list is going to be Forlorn Note. There's a couple different ways to get this. I'm going to go the route that I know and normally follow. To my understanding, there may be something that's slightly faster. I just haven't tested it to be sure myself. God Note, yes, exactly. So to get to Forlorn, Forlorn Temple is actually, I would say, surprisingly difficult from a casual perspective. That being said, I don't remember what the majority of the temple looks like at this point, because of course we're not going to see it. We're going to choose to clip in the back of Forlorn, similar to how we did earlier, and just go right for the boss, basically. So the debate about the other way to get back, instead of going reverse bamboo, is to take the portal to Autumn. So you take the portal out of Sunken over to Autumn, and then you would go back in the catacombs, you would redo the catacombs clip, and then you would do the Forlorn clip at the start of bamboo instead. The only thing I don't have worked out in my head is how you would get back to 16-bit, so you could actually do the Forlorn boss fight. That's the only piece I need clarification on myself. I'll just go with what I know. Rope Dart goes farther than you think. One thing I will say, you almost have to hold it down to extend it to its full distance, but it goes farther than you think. Up and over. $50 from Entu. Thank you for the luck. Very much appreciated. Music is so good. Bamboo soundtrack, so good. Take it in. Taking every boost that we can get, as you see. One of those cases of keeping your momentum. Alrighty, let's go for a little walk. Totally intended. This is how you're supposed to get to Forlorn. And then we just walk in the back of the boss fight, and it's just like, hey, dude. We did have everyone appreciate the loop, yes. This fight, we're basically dreaming of the one cycle. I accidentally let go of it, but re-grabbed. Nobody's been able to hit the one cycle yet. Closest I've seen is somebody getting within 4 hits. So the important piece there is I didn't miss the rocket. You can actually force the second rocket a little bit earlier by getting that extra damage. And he's done. This phase is done. Shared this to, I forget who it was, but someone said that they could see Majin Buu's face in the chair in the background there. Look for it next time. Tell me if you can see it. I see what he's going for. It's there. Can confirm that is his face. Final form, final phase of the Demon Lord. A little bit disappointing, not gonna lie. You resort to giving him a terrible, terrible sunburn. Casual me got to this boss while I still had 2 extra music notes left to find, so of course me, under the impression that this was the final boss, was like, well, what am I going to do now? So in death, he basically tells you, wahaha, it doesn't matter that you've defeated me, the curse will continue, regardless of me being here or not. And it's not over. Somehow he speaks to you in death. Alright, so we get his crown. We don't, again, get another music note. We get his crown. Alright, now we're going to get the underworld notes. Access the Craig's portal that we opened up earlier. The Lightfoot tabbies allow you to walk on water. It doesn't expressly tell you, but you can also walk on lava. The little guy that you see there, by the way, he's supposed to be one of the dudes that you rescue to help get us into Forlorn Temple. But we don't need them because of the cliff, so we don't bother rescuing him. Unfortunately, the little claustrophobic guy just ends up continuing to be claustrophobic for the remainder of this game. I think, no, that might not be Claustro. One of the other ones might be Claustro. They basically all have names that are based on what they're afraid of. Underworld looking a little different. We were only here in 16-bit earlier. Slight remodel. They got more spikes in 8-bit. This time we're going to take the underpath. Magmaphobia. I can confirm, that is the actual name. Key to this walk on water / walk on lava bit is you can't stop moving, or else you fall off the surface of the water. Flash. Liquid hot magma. Small delay there, both to prevent me running into that buzzsaw at the start and hit the one at the end. First name, Liquid Hot. Last name, Magma. Alright, no big deal. Ripping our way through the underworld. Continuing the rope dart everything theme. a little scary. I've never gotten there so ahead of that spike. And voila, we have an underworld note. Final note that we're going to be seeking out on our journey here, the corrupted note. So what you use the demon's crown for is they've basically decided that one of the notes that you need to save the world is inside the very corrupted future that you're trying to prevent. So you use the demon's crown to bring yourself forward to this corrupted future, and we're going to try and find ourselves a note. When you get here, the little fairy that you had with you basically says that she can sense the enemies, or the energy from her sisters, and that she will summon them to help you in your time of need in this corrupted future. They basically provide little paths, and you just kind of need to rescue them along the way. There's a new Abyss clip that I have not yet learned, so I will not be throwing it in. But there is a way, it supposedly saves, I think, 30 seconds? Almost to the end. So at the end here, there's supposed to be this big chase sequence. This monster comes out of the abyss, tries to eat you. You have to make your way back through this entire section safely before he noms you up. But again, we don't necessarily do things as intended, so we're not going to do that either. Alrighty. So, last checkpoint was the starting portal of this area. If you rope dart off of that hook and then you activate your glide, you will contact the music note and you will still continue to glide and slide all the way in the end. The end result is the music note follows you back to the previous checkpoint, start of the area, or this guy decides he's even going to show up. And you negate the whole chase sequence by just leaving. He's lonely, so he's going to continue to whine and moan that you're not there. Poor guy. Music box, final section. Only skippable cutscene in the game. So what you're going to see me do here is I'm actually going to take a save and quit as soon as we get inside the music box and it saves. The reason I'm going to do this is because if I happen to die, after you've done that note grab, if you happen to die, it is a hard lock and you need to actually exit out the game and reboot the game from scratch. So we're not going to risk that. It's not worth it. We're hopefully not going to die. But doing the save and quit actually just negates that effect. I'll take the smaller time loss in lieu of the potential larger time loss. And this is one of my favorite tracks in the game. little bit of a clip there. We got a larger one over here. Hit it, please. I know, 16-bit music boxes. I know, I say it's probably my favorite tune. Maximum swagginess. Wait that out. Whew. Alright, not too bad. Could have been worse. Wait that out. Oh no. Missed the grab. It's fine. Second try. Should not have gone for that. I definitely should not have gone for that, especially after the hesitation. The new clip here that I came up with the other day. Skips essentially a puzzle section. Well, not a puzzle. Skips a switch. Better way to put it. Bit of back and forth. We're almost done. First try. The new one I came up with as well. See if we can get it. Nice. Okay, so there's normally threats, like a ball and chain, for example, right there, but because this room shouldn't exist in 8-bit mode, there's not actually anything there. There's also supposed to be spikes down here. You don't see that either. Grab that. And there's supposed to be a puzzle here, but again, the environment just doesn't exist in 8-bit. The good thing, though, is because the boss, the final boss, Phantom, does exist in both 8 and 16-bit, you can trigger the fight, despite the fact that you're never supposed to be here in this time period. We are coming up to the final boss. There's a small event afterwards, so I'll make sure to give a clear marking of time, but it's you don't have to worry for the duration of this fight. Just let it land. We want to see the mask move is what we're looking for. What I'm trying to force there is basically if you make him disappear and then reappear, there's a window of time in which you can hit him with the original one that he placed. So you avoid kind of the ping pong back and forth Ganon bits, if you will. I'd like to see the mask move now. The mask move now would be the best bet. Again, exploding iframes. Should be the end of it here. Excellent. I am actually going to PB. And this is going to be really close to record. Alright, so time's going to be when the mask explodes. And this is the chance where we're all going to get to do the thing. So if you guys want to spam do the thing in chat, now would be your time. But yeah, this is going to be PB, guys. Let's all do the thing. Here it comes on the explosion. And time. And that is a PB. By like half a minute. I'll take it. So yeah, I guess just a couple really quick shoutouts. Thanks to Manix and everyone else in the P4P staff that have been putting in tons of hard work behind the scenes this weekend. I've seen it firsthand. I won't go into detail with everyone by name, but thank you so much for the work that you guys are putting in, and thank you for offering me the chance to show the game. It was a little bit of a late edition, which is completely fine, but I'm glad I was able to kind of show it off, and PB is just bonus, to be honest. But I appreciate everyone hanging out watching. Make sure to stick around. There's still a few more runs to go before the end of this and before everything gets wrapped up. And two, thanks again for the generous donation. And yeah, I will pass it back to staff. You guys have yourself an awesome end of your weekend.